39 shots, 2 matches, 0 goals. That is how badly Ecuador had been struggling at this World Cup. Tonight they faced 4-time champions Germany. Win or go home. Nobody gave them a real chance. What happened next will go down as one of the biggest upsets of this entire tournament. Let us break it down. This match took place at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Germany had already secured top spot in Group E, so coach Julian Nagelsmann made just 2 changes from their previous win, with fullback David Raum and center-back Antonio Rudiger replacing an injured duo. FIFA. For Germany, this match meant almost nothing. For Ecuador, it meant absolutely everything. Ecuador entered this match as a team many had fancied to go deep at this World Cup, yet they had not scored a single goal across their first 2 matches. FIFA. They had taken 39 shots without finding the net, and Curaçao's goalkeeper Eloy Room had even made 15 saves against them, setting a World Cup record in a single 90-minute match. FIFA. The equation was brutally simple. Win tonight or go home, and then the worst possible start happened. Germany pressed well early on and took the lead through Leroy Sane's 2nd-minute finish set up by Florian Wirtz. FIFA, 2 minutes on the clock, and Ecuador's nightmare scenario was already unfolding. Germany took the lead just 2 minutes in through Leroy Sane in a goal that immediately sparked controversy due to a possible foul in the build-up. ESPN. Let us talk about that controversy, because it nearly changed everything. Germany midfielder Aleksandar Pavlovic appeared to kick Ecuador's Pedro Vite in the face shortly before Wirtz set up Sane to stroke home the opener. But VAR chose not to intervene, despite incensed Ecuador players surrounding the referee. FIFA. The kick appeared to be a high boot challenge that should have resulted in a foul, which would have disallowed the goal entirely. But after review, video assistant referee Joe Dickerson did not see a reason for a closer look, in Sane Wikipedia. Ecuador players were furious. The goal stood. Down 1-0 against 4-time world champions with a controversial decision against them. This looked like exactly the kind of night that ends in heartbreak. But Ecuador refused to fold. Just 7 minutes later, Vite won possession and fed Nilson Angulo, who hit a fierce shot that flew through Pavlovic's legs and into the far corner. FIFA. Manuel Neuer wasn't exactly at fault, but he looked every day of his 40 years on that particular save attempt. FIFA. Goal back. 1-1. Remarkably, this was Ecuador's first goal from open play in a competitive match in more than 11 months, dating all the way back to March 2025. FIFA, 11 months, without a single open play goal, and they had just scored one against Germany on the biggest stage in football. The momentum had completely shifted. The tide began to turn at the start of the second half, with Ecuador beginning to threaten consistently. FIFA. Coach Sebastian Becachese made a crucial double change, bringing on Kevin Rodriguez and Angelo Preciado in place of veteran striker Ener Valencia and Alan Franco. FIFA, fresh legs, fresh energy, and Germany's veteran goalkeeper was starting to wobble. A mix-up between Neuer and Jonathan Tah in the box allowed Moises Caicedo to find Gonzalo Plata at the far post, though his effort dropped just wide. FIFA. The chances were coming. It was only a matter of time. Then, in the 77th minute, the moment Ecuador had been building toward finally arrived. Rodriguez flicked on a corner kick for Plata, who stabbed the ball into the net with Neuer once again slow to react. FIFA. After constant insistence, Gonzalo Plata finally buried the match winner from that corner, scoring arguably the biggest goal in Ecuador's history. Sky Sports. 2-1, Ecuador. The stadium erupted. Drinks flew into the air. Substitutes ran onto the pitch. Coach Becachese hugged a loved one behind the dugout, and the sea of yellow inside MetLife Stadium almost made the entire venue shake. FIFA. Even Germany's own coach could not defend what had just happened. I think it has to be defended differently, Nagelsmann admitted afterward. It is very difficult for the goalie to make a difference there. FIFA. A polite way of saying his team simply was not switched on, and Ecuador made them pay for every single mistake. Let us put this result into perspective. It was the first goal of the entire World Cup for Ecuador, a team that had struggled mightily and desperately needed a win just to keep their hopes of advancing alive. Wikipedia. Beyond the result itself, Ecuador proved they can compete with absolutely anyone. They defeated a global powerhouse, showed incredible mental strength after falling behind, and displayed tremendous character on a truly crucial night. ESPN. This victory not only boosts Ecuador's hopes in the tournament, but also confirms that they could become one of the most difficult teams to face for the remainder of this World Cup. ESPN. For Germany, the picture looks far less encouraging. The defeat does not change anything in terms of standings, since Germany had already clinched top spot in Group E. But it was an alarming performance from a team that, instead of looking like a genuine contender to win it all, now looks like a side that could easily get upset early in the knockout rounds. Sky Sports, Manuel Neuer is arguably the greatest goalkeeper of all time, and he is still capable of producing strong performances, but at 40 years old, he is increasingly likely to have nights exactly like this one. Sky Sports. Neuer has now failed to keep a clean sheet at the World Cup since the 2014 final, a run stretching to 9 straight games conceding a goal, the second worst streak in World Cup history. Sky Sports. Father Time is undefeated, even against legends. There were warning signs elsewhere in Germany's squad too. Jamal Musiala, once one of the brightest young prospects in the entire sport, has looked like a shell of his former self ever since returning from a horrific injury suffered during the 2025 Club World Cup. Sky Sports. With center-back Nico Schlotterbeck ruled out for the rest of this tournament, Jonathan Tah and Antonio Rudiger will need to step up significantly in the knockout rounds because right now the defense looks incredibly leaky. Sky Sports. A team that many expected to challenge for the title, suddenly facing very real questions about its identity heading into the knockout stage. My take on this entire match. This was about so much more than just 3 points or a meaningless dead rubber for Germany. This was Ecuador announcing themselves to the rest of the tournament, a team that had gone nearly a year without an open play goal, just defeated 4-time world champions in their biggest moment of need. If they can carry this momentum and this fighting spirit into the knockout rounds, they could genuinely cause problems for anyone left in this competition. That is the complete story of how Ecuador shocked the football world tonight. The slow start, the controversy, the equalizer, the iconic winning goal. Drop a comment right now and tell me, did you see this upset coming? Subscribe to this channel for more World Cup shocks, highlights, and breaking stories. This is your World Cup 2026 coverage, and we will see you in the next one.